911 is John. What's the address emergency?
Hi, there is an emergency. I found something in my son's closet wrapped in a plastic bag.
Okay, what was it?
I think it's a human head.
The operator could hardly believe his ears, and anxiously asked the caller what exactly had happened.
Why do you think it's that?
Because it looks like it's all an ear.
Why would there be a human head in a perfectly normal wardrobe? What on earth is going on here? On March 1st, 2021, a woman found something terrifying at home, and immediately called the police for help. Reaching the Mesa County Police Department in Colorado, she said that while tidying up her son's bedroom, she found 2 heavy plastic bags with items inside in the wardrobe, and the bags were covered with disgusting maggots, so she put one of the bags into the sink, and when she opened it, she realized it was presumably a human head. She had already covered the item with a towel.
Why do you think it's that?
Because it looks like it's all an ear.
Is it bloody or does it like anything like that?
Just tell you to come. Do I have to take a picture and send it to you?
What's the address?
One could tell the lady's voice was trembling non-stop. It seemed she was absolutely terrified, but the police still needed to first get a general idea of the situation.
Is your son there now?
He just pulled up. We wanted to make sure he was here before we called.
How old is he?
19. He's had a little bit of a fascination with the morbid, but he was channeling it, I thought, into becoming a crime scene investigator, but not so much.
Then the police rushed to the scene immediately. After all, if the item in the sink was really a human head, this would be a homicide case. Soon the police arrived at the caller's home.
Cooperate. I am going to cooperate.
The boy in the picture is Brian, the caller's son. The person beside him who's telling him to cooperate is his father. The boy on the other side is his younger brother.
Okay, so parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hands.
Unexpectedly, Brian was really very cooperative, and immediately admitted that the items in the room were a human head and human body parts. The police officer immediately took it seriously upon hearing this, for the person standing in front of him was likely a murderer, so he hurriedly took the person into custody first.
Do you have anything on you he's gonna cut, poke, hurt, stick me anything without reaching for nothing? Don't reach for nothing.
My phone and my wallet, that's
okay.
it.
Well, I'm gonna have you face that way, put your hands on top of your head for me real quick. I just wanna make sure you interlace your fingers for me real quick, alright?
Seeing that Brian didn't put up any resistance, the police officer asked him to follow a colleague and sit in the police car for a while.
Just sit back there and hang out for me, okay? Can you walk me inside, please?
It can be seen that this lady, whose face still shows lingering fear, is Brian's mother, and she's also the one who made the emergency call to the police.
Let me do it. You go inside.
Well, let's stay out here with me for a minute.
Sit down. Come on, sit down, baby.
Can I go in there and verify here first?
Oh, yeah, please.
Let me
We
go
haven't
through
seen
that.
it. Yeah, we
Okay.
haven't looked at it.
It's under the towel in the sink.
Okay.
Annie, stay with your mother. Give her a hug.
It can be seen that the caller's emotions are very intense, which is enough to show how terrifying the items in the plastic bag are.
Well, yeah,
Sink
okay.
right there. No,
Yeah.
no, house is empty. Okay. Had a bag feeling about what happened this weekend.
Okay.
And she said there's a bag in this closet, and she opened it up. And she called me and said, get over here right now.
At this point, the police officer had already followed Brian's father into the house, preparing to confirm what exactly the item in the sink was.
I covered it with a towel.
Okay.
I didn't want him to see it because we didn't want him to run. I don't want to look at it.
Yep.
After looking at the contents inside the bag, the police officer was very certain that it was a human head. The next step was to take the person back to the police station. A female police officer prepared to let Brian get into her car.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you? You said your name's Brian?
Yeah. I'm not feeling too well.
You're not feeling too well? All right.
No, these past few days I've been very, very anxious.
Brian said he wasn't feeling well. Could it be because of the human head incident? And where did this decomposed human head come from?
So what we're going to have you do here is I'm just going to have you sit in the back here, okay? I'm going to turn on the air for you in a second. That way you're not too hot. Are you a hot-blooded or cold-blooded kind of guy?
I am very cold-blooded. I prefer cold.
Brian has a surprisingly clear understanding of his own position. After all, he's someone who can live in the same room as a human head. Even when the head was infested with maggots, he still couldn't bear to throw it away. And when facing the police's questioning, he remained calm and composed from start to finish, calmly saying that the contents of the bag were a human head. He's indeed cold-blooded enough.
Well, no, actually, sorry. Hot-blooded.
Hot blood. So you prefer the cold? Okay, fantastic. All right. So hop in here. I know you're tall, so it's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but like I said, I'll get that air on for you.
Sorry about that.
All right.
After successfully getting Brian into the car, the female police officer locked the car door.
All right, Brian. We're headed to the sheriff's office, and your family's gonna go with us, okay?
Everything here was still normal, yet before they had gone far, Brian suddenly said something strange.
It was under this bridge.
The police officer didn't understand what Brian meant by this sentence, and also didn't ask what he was trying to express. It wasn't until they arrived at the police station later that they learned the area under the bridge was where Brian had disposed of the body. Except for the human head and hands kept at home, Brian had thrown the rest of the body parts under that same bridge earlier, so the police immediately went there to search.
It's right here. Yeah. Because there's an arm. There's an arm, there's another arm.
Do some pictures.
There's another one.
I don't have a clue.
It's like something out of TV.
This scene is really quite dramatic. It's unbelievable that someone would dispose of a body so casually, brazenly throwing human body parts everywhere.
Right, here's a leg. That could be the upper arm or a leg.
Well, there's three. There, and there.
Pieces down there. I mean, if we can get the lab out here, that would be the best thing.
Holy hell.
Cars kept shuttling back and forth under the bridge, yet no one noticed the scattered body parts nearby. This matter is quite bizarre too. The police were still working hard to find the remaining body parts, while at the police station, Brian's mother tried her best to stay calm, and quickly told the police officers about her son's strange behavior. The night before, Brian had driven his car into the river yesterday, and they had even called the police at that time. Next, let's take a look at what exactly happened last night.
Is your son right here? Hey, partner, you want to come out and talk to me real quick?
Sure, I
Appreciate
mean,
it, man.
I'm really cold. Is it okay if it's in here? Because
That's fine.
Because he is
Okay, that's fine. I did not know that. No, please stay in the car. All right.
The conversation here was still quite relaxed and pleasant. Although the car had been driven into the water, it had now been fished out, and no casualties were caused. Then the police officer began to find out about the situation, and Brian's father described what had happened.
20 minutes ago and said, Dad, I parked at the boat ramp and I messed up. I tried to get out of the car and it slid down.
Well, you're not hurt, right? You're okay?
no, just a little
Okay.
cold is all.
Just beside your pride a little bit.
And probably $7,000.
Okay. All right, man. Do you have your ID with you, driver's license by any chance?
Thankfully,
What were you doing down here, bud?
well, I felt like I needed to get out, and I figured, why not park here and just
relax a little bit.
relax and think.
Okay.
And I parked on the boat ramp, and I thought it would be easy to get out.
After hearing about Brian's bad luck, the police officer even felt relieved for him. After all, losing money was a minor issue. It was already good that he was safe now. But how could the police officer have imagined that Brian, who seemed harmless on the surface, chatting and laughing here, and being open about everything he was asked, was actually telling a big lie? His real purpose for driving out late at night was actually to find a place to throw away other human body parts. Later, Brian was sent back home, while his parents stayed behind to take charge of retrieving the car. But just at this point, the police officer noticed a problem.
Hey, quick question for you. Sure. So the back bumper, I don't know, you can probably see it from here. There's a lot of red on the back of that, dripping down it all a little bit. That's underneath the license plate, a little area right there. Okay. A lot of red, which means it looks like blood.
blood.
Yeah. I don't know if did your son hurt himself?
The police officer didn't think about Brian transporting a body at all. Instead, they were worried about whether he was injured. After all, when the car fell into the water, the adrenaline in his body was very likely to soar. Even if he was injured, he might not notice it for the time being. So the police officer hoped Brian's parents would check on him.
Hello?
Brian, are you okay? They see blood on the back bumper of the vehicle.
Really?
Yeah, did you get hurt?
No.
Are you sure you don't have any injuries?
No, I'm fine. There's blood on it?
We're not sure.
We're not sure. It's a red, something red
It-
underneath the license plate.
Similar blood stain.
Oh no.
After Brian's mother told him there was blood on the rear bumper of the car, he put on a surprised look, saying he didn't know why there was a blood-like liquid there. What he could be certain of was that he wasn't injured, but he quickly came up with an explanation, saying it should have been some fake blood plasma that spilled accidentally during a special effects training class earlier. This explanation seemed reasonable enough. In the end, the police officer didn't pursue the matter further. At this point, Brian had been waiting in the interrogation room for a long time. His state was vastly different from that of his mother in the next room. The fear brought on by the human head made his mother break down and cry from time to time, but Brian appeared very relaxed, even a little excited. But when the police entered the interrogation room, Brian became a little anxious and restless. His legs began to shake involuntarily. The police first asked some basic questions before officially launching the crucial interrogation that would get to the heart of the matter.
And how did you get here?
I murdered someone.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, Brian didn't hesitate at all, and immediately said that he had killed someone.
To start back at the beginning and go slow and tell me as many details as you can remember.
So, because I mean, Murray going to jail for the 15 years probably.
I have no idea.
Because
We're at the beginning.
it's murder. I mean, I'm going to jail for 20 probably.
Just now, it was thought that Brian was shaking his legs because he was nervous, but now he had completely changed his demeanor. When facing the police's questioning, he sat with his legs crossed, looking quite proud. He not only admitted to committing murder, but also smiled and asked how many years he would be sentenced to, showing not the slightest fear of the legal punishment he was about to receive. And the reason Brian cooperated actively with the interrogation was that he thought, anyway, the maximum he would get was 20 years in prison, so he might as well confess everything quickly.
So what's important to me is to learn as much about you and what you did and as I can. Well, as many details as you can give me, the better.
Let's see. Yeah, it was the night of February 27th. It was a full moon, and I figured I could see so well, why not try it out? I am in a bad state of mind at that time. I have major depressive disorder, so I am not thinking, shall say, positively.
Okay.
Brian confessed that he had depression. Would he use this as an excuse for his evil deeds later?
And I'm cruising around for an hour and a half. So I fill up on gas halfway through, and I'm eventually driving underneath the bridge near the sheriff's office. There's a road underneath, right? Out under the overpass. And I was driving along, and I see a shape here on the railway track. So I'm like, oh, interesting. So I go up, and as I'm looking, I see a large thing wrapped in a canvas.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a homeless person. So I grab my knife, I put on 3 layers of gloves, because plastic gloves can betray their users because they're so thin, the final gloves, by printing your fingerprints through. So I put on 2, 3 on one hand. I took the knife, I pulled back the canvas, and I stabbed his neck.
Oh my goodness, the homeless person is so unlucky. He was brutally killed just for sleeping in a bridge underpass.
He was panicking at first in his old man voice. He was in his 50s. I know why I call him old man. He was saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah!" And I just kept on stabbing his neck. Is it okay if I do a demonstration?
Oh, yeah.
This is him. I was strapped on top of him like this.
Okay.
And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking a sweat. I thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy.
When describing the murder process, Brian showed no sense of guilt at all. He even laughed out loud, and proudly said that everything was too easy and simple. Later, the police officer asked many other questions, and Brian answered all of them truthfully. While speaking, he even added vivid expressions and gesture descriptions. This kind of person is really terrifying. The female police officer beside couldn't help but complain, thinking Brian was very talkative, and Brian was amused by her words. The female police officer then asked Brian why he had said his mental state wasn't good at that time. He replied that he hadn't taken his medicine. In fact, he had been wanting to try what it felt like to kill someone for many years, and when he got the chance, he tried it. And he wasn't lying about this part. According to the investigation, Brian had many mental and psychological disorders such as depression, autism, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and so on. It just so happened that he didn't take his medicine that day, and he also found an opportunity to commit the crime. With the victim being a homeless person, he thought that even if the elderly person went missing, no one would care, so he resolutely took a 12-inch kitchen knife and attacked. When he had been talking with the police officer for nearly an hour and a half, Brian said that if he could go back to that night again, he wouldn't have killed the homeless person he saw in the canvas tent, but at that time, he didn't know what killing felt like or what the outcome would be. He had originally thought that killing would bring him a thrill like flying, but obviously, it didn't. Later, the police investigation revealed that the victim was named Warren, who was 69 years old when he was killed, and a homeless person with no home. But he had many friends. After discovering Warren was missing, his friends immediately went to the police station to ask for help, and it was thanks to them that the police were able to quickly confirm the victim's identity. In February 2023, the trial for the case of Brian murdering and dismembering the homeless person began, but what was unexpected was that Brian, who appeared in court, went against his usual behavior and refused to plead guilty, claiming that he had mental and psychological illnesses when he committed the murder, thinking this would allow him to avoid punishment. In response, the jury discussed for 2 days, and also specifically consulted the opinions of 2 state psychologists, both of whom said that Brian was mentally competent when he committed the crime. Finally, the judge declared Brian guilty of first-degree murder, the reason being that Brian had personally admitted to committing murder earlier, and had made careful plans before the crime occurred. Otherwise, he wouldn't have carried the murder weapon with him, nor would he have dismembered the body after the crime, and even crazily kept souvenirs before disposing of the body, so he was sentenced to life imprisonment, without the possibility of parole for any reason. Later, the exposure of the case caused a considerable sensation. Many people were shocked by Brian's cruelty, and the excited state he showed when talking about the details of the crime, believing that he was completely a devil from hell, and also unanimously thought that the judge and jury had done the right thing, not allowing the culprit to escape punishment. Of course, in this case, the ones most worthy of praise are Brian's parents. They didn't choose to cover up for their son, but instead let him take responsibility for the mistakes he had made. If they had done otherwise, Brian would have been highly likely to continue committing crimes later. Now let's analyze Brian's criminal psychology. The most straightforward point is that he has an abnormal and distorted desire for infamy. His mother had said that her son was obsessed with terrifying and abnormal things. In fact, Brian himself later admitted that he admired those famous serial killers, thinking that killing must be very satisfying and could attract attention, even if it was infamous fame. Having such a mentality clearly shows that he has a serious misjudgment of his own self-worth. He wanted to attract attention and gain recognition, but didn't use normal methods at all, treating violent crime as a shortcut to prove himself. It's a pity that Brian's mother tried to guide her son onto the right path, but failed. If you like my channel, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.